SRBMedia. Is it so you're lost in dreams beside the world?
Good evening, Gabbie.
Good evening, TC, and welcome all to part 11 of our weekly podcast, The Curran View, with the idol of Hillsborough, Mr. Terry Curran. How's things?
Fine, thanks. Bad weekend for a pair of us. Birmingham getting beat, and then obviously Sheffield Wednesday losing.
I have to pull you up there, TC. Birmingham actually won this weekend.
Oh, they were losing 1-0, weren't they?
Yeah, I lost my bet.
Yes, that's right, yes. I had them down as a win.
Yeah, I also lost out on our Super 6 that we do every week. You are now 3-1 up. But what we always do, we talk about the Owls and the Blues a little bit later in the show, but because it's part 11, who is your favourite number 11 that you played with? And I'm guessing I already know the answer.
The one I played with?
We'll go with and against, yeah.
Oh, I've got to say the greatest number 11 whatever wore a number 11 shirt was George Best. He was my idol.
Yeah.
You know, Jim McCalliog was my idol for Sheffield Wednesday. But the best 11 I played with was John Robertson.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that.
Yeah, without doubt.
But didn't George wear the number 7 as well for Manchester United? George did wear different numbers, didn't he?
Yeah, he wore 8 a couple of times.
Yeah,
but he wore 11 majority of the time, but he did wear 7, you know.
No,
but they weren't bothered about numbers in those days, Paul.
No, you're absolutely right. And if George was about today, it would be brand George Best, and that number 11 would be his, and they would market as part of the image and the brand that is George Best, wouldn't they? Yeah. And that's literally, in the olden days, players didn't care about what number was on the back. They pretty much cared about the badge that was on the front and showed a lot more loyalty than the players do these days.
You're right on that point, but what I will say about modern day football, times has changed, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Yes,
everything advances. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, it's disappointing that there isn't the loyalty at clubs and with players. But look, it works both ways, because sometimes the clubs do it on purpose to get rid of players, and then it works other way around, where players think, well, you know, you've been messing me around, so I'll mess you around. So, you know, they both have to blame for that, the player and the club. I
was just going to say exactly the same thing. Loyalty is a two-way street, and the clubs show no loyalty to the players. So why should the players show loyalty to the clubs? The only people that are loyal in the game are the fans. Exactly.
I know you will, yeah.
But they aren't, they tell. You're born to support your club. You die supporting the same club. You never change your club, although you develop likes and relationships with other clubs through friends and through family members. And that's only human nature. Since I've been doing the shows with both you and Alan, I look far more favourably at Sheffield Wednesday's results. I look at my Wednesday win today, and the same with Stoke, and the same with Chelsea and all the other clubs you played for.
I have never looked for a Birmingham result, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful to Birmingham City.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, what I will say about me, if Birmingham come to Sheffield Wednesday and they played us off at Park, I'm disappointed we've got beat. But I always think, you know, they played well at Birmingham. Yeah. But now, you know, I've become friends with you. I do look for Birmingham's result as well.
Yeah. I just think it is a natural thing with decent-minded football supporters that we look at the game in a different way to the more, if we can say, without being offensive to those fans, the more partisan of supporters that all they see is one team, one colour, it's theirs, and nothing else matters in the game apart from the win. Now, me like yourself, I like to watch a game. I would rather go down to St Andrews and see a brilliant 3-3 or a 4-3 defeat for Birmingham when Blues have played some great football. I've seen development from young players that have been introduced, and I've gone away and I've thought, what a wonderful game of football. I cannot wait to come down and see that all over again.
And I agree with you on that. I mean, when you're not playing or when you retire and you go and sit in the stands and you see how some people are, even bank managers, they get that excited with their team and they seem to lose it. They seem to lose, like a player will lose it when he scores a goal. People in the stands, they're obsessed with that team, their team. And I'm obsessed with it, but not in the sense where I look at it and it's the ref's fault. I don't blame the referee. I don't blame the opposition. I look at it and think, well, we haven't played particularly well. And as two or three of them, or Birmingham played really well with two outstanding players, or maybe three outstanding players playing for that team. So that's a two-way thing that we fans, they're really either obsessed with it and they're not interested in anything, or they're like me and you, where you like to talk to other football fans with other football teams and have the right banter and try and agree on the right way of what we think our team should play.
Absolutely. I mean, the only problems I've ever encountered on Facebook and social media are with Birmingham City supporters, because I've just said it exactly as I see it, and the blue touch paper that usually ignites rows on Facebook with me and Birmingham City fans is over my love for Jack Grealish. I think the kid is such a talent. I love the way he plays football, and I don't care what football team he plays for. I just love to watch Jack Grealish play. I think he's an absolute artist. So let's start the talky little bits tonight with that situation at Crystal Palace. Jack gets the ball. It's in the dying minutes. Can you believe what happened next and what you witnessed?
Well, I can't believe it. You can't believe it. Yeah. And if we're honest, lots of people could not believe it.
Exactly.
Even on the Sky Pundit, and I don't always agree with them. Yeah. They couldn't believe it. I mean, he's blown for a dive. Yeah, he got caught. Back of his ankle got caught, and as he's falling, he's passed the ball.
Yeah.
And they've scored, and he's blown up. I mean, when he looks at that, the referee friend, he will look at it and say, I've made a right wicket. But on top of that, and again, it's too much of interference with this VAR now, with every mortal thing.
Yeah.
Again, I'll repeat myself. I thought it was going to come in. I thought it was coming in. So when balls were over the line, they were convinced it had gone over the line, and we knew it was a genuine goal or it weren't a goal, right? But what's happening now for him to get booked and the goal disallowed is atrocious, and I mean atrocious. And like I said on an early programme we talked about, this coming towards the end of the season might cause a riot. And I didn't want to really say it, but you can see what's going to happen here, because one fans are going to be so excited and taunt the other fans because of a bad decision. But to watch Jack play, not only do I love people what has got great ability, what I love about him a lot is the composure on the ball. For a 21, 22-year-old, he's not flustered at all. Not flustered one little bit. And if he makes a mistake, he will still try, and that's sign of a good player. And sign of a good player.
And he's got great balance as well.
Yeah.
He seems to have this reputation that he dives, but again, if I'm playing devil's advocate, I don't think he does. What he tends to do is he's clever. He invites the challenge. So he's almost like that matador with the ball. And he invites the ball and then takes that red thingy that he's got, the cloth in his hand, and he's gone. And Grealish plays exactly the same way. Sometimes the ball will catch the matador, and sometimes the defender catches Jack Grealish. Let's be truthful. There's sometimes, especially in my team, Birmingham City, we played Villa twice last season. The game plan was to smash Grealish early doors and as hard as they can, because in football you usually get your first one free. So Grealish is a player that has been identified, and he's also one of the most foul players in the Premier League as well, in a team that doesn't have the ball as much as a team like Manchester United and Liverpool and the better teams.
Well, I listen to all the pundits, because all these pundits on the TV, they've all played the game. Yeah, they have all played the game, and they've all been in the dressing room, right? When the manager's said, right, choose what area you played in, the manager will say, if slightest touch, goal down, right? And some of them are genuine fouls. There's some what aren't. I must admit, there's some aren't. But you will try and get an advantage for your team. But in general, I mean, there's some what gets disallowed goals because people have gone down, and fouls have not been given when they should have been given because they're pulling it up all the time. I know we've got to try and get the right balance, but it's both ways. There is times when that player is fouled and it's not being given. Absolutely. And there is times when a player has gone down when he shouldn't have. And none of us like that. Me, you, or anybody else don't like that. But even Jack Grealish wouldn't like that when he watches it. But in general, I'm like you. He invites them in, and he entices them in, and they've got to stick the foot out, right? But it's too late. They've caught him. Yeah. And he's either gone past them or they've caught him and he's gone down. So it's a two-way thing with that. And for me, the referees have got to be genuine with it when they're giving it, and not thinking, oh well, Jack Grealish or Alan Shearer is a known diver, so we're not going to give a penalty or we're not going to give a free kick. They've got to get the decisions right, and that's what the game's all about: getting the right decision for the game itself.
But what amazed me with that incident, we're going to move on to Harry Kane shortly, is the fact that the referee, it appeared, only blew his whistle when Henry Lansbury was going to shoot a goal. And you're thinking, why did you blow your whistle then? If you thought it was simulation, why didn't you blow your whistle straight away for Grealish? But he didn't. He waited. As soon as Lansbury went to kick the ball, he blew his whistle, and you just think, why do you do that? And
go on, sorry.
No, and I was just about to add, and if he would have come out at the end of the game, as a former pro like yourself and a fan, and me just as a fan, if a referee would have come out and said, do you know what, I just got it wrong. I don't know why I blew my whistle then, but I did. I apologise. I got it wrong. I can't change it. I made a mistake. But I've got to say, I made fewer mistakes on the pitch than all the players. But honesty.
And they fetched that many rules out this season.
Yeah.
But I think everybody's a bit confused with them. Yeah. Because on that instant, what they're saying, don't blow your whistle until the ball's in back of the net, and then you can fetch it back.
Yep.
I think he's got himself stuck.
Yeah.
Do I blow or do I leave it? And when he thought they're going to score, then he's blown, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he has.
Or got a shot off.
Yeah.
And it's confusing for referees. But going back to a referee, they'll never let a referee come out. And I would imagine, imagine that it's right for him not to come out, because if they say the wrong, you daren't say the wrong thing now, Gabbie. Anyone. If you could say the wrong thing and it's misinterpreted, and it could be biased to something. So I understand why they don't come out and speak to the TV. But at the same time, we're all frustrated when a referee gives a decision, and we all look at it. Not all, because some will agree with the referee, but in general, a lot of people will turn around and say, "How has he not seen that?"
Yeah.
It's hard to referee. I will say that it's hard.
Oh, it is, and we need the referees. And since they've gone professional, I just don't see that much in the way of improvement by them. I think that, arguably referees in your day were better than the referees today. And I think in your day you had certain referees that have got more personality and seem more approachable. And these days we just seem to be producing people that have never played the game, robotic referees that understand the rules, play it by the letter, and they all think differently. So what one referee will give, the other referee doesn't. And it just seems to be an absolute mess most weekends when we're talking about refereeing decisions.
But is it really their fault? What I'm trying to get at is this. In my day, and before my time, yes, you did have the banter with referees, and if you did something, you said that's absolutely rubbish referee, only using foul language to it.
Yeah.
He'd say something back to you. It went half as bad as that miss you just missed 5 minutes ago. So you got that. But the problem for referees nowadays is they highlight it to every mortal thing, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And if I would imagine, and listen, I look at it and I think to myself, have they got that wrong?
Yeah.
But they're damned if they give it, and they're damned if they don't give it. It's just highlighted. But I am agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm not agreeing you for sake of agreeing with you. You're right what you're saying, but it's not complicated. It's everything's highlighted, Gabbie. Everything is highlighted now. Every mortal thing. You can hear people swear. People now are having to put the hand over the mouth because they've got specialist lip readers.
Yeah.
Sat in a studio. And what can relate to what a player, a manager, a coach, a physio has said,
Yeah.
So the game, and you can't say the wrong thing there. That's what the problem is. The political correctness of the world, or in England or Britain, is becoming a problem, I think.
I wish they'd just get this political correctness and shove it right at the jacksie, as Cloughie would say, because it doesn't do us any favours. And I think you've got a point there. If we're watching a game of football, do we need to keep replaying these incidents where a referee has made a decision or a player has and it hasn't resulted in a goal? What I'm trying to say, I guess, in essence, is let's have the only action replay of a goal. So when we scored a goal, let's just keep having a look at the goal. But those contentious points, let's just see them once as a referee has saw them, and that's it. Leave it alone. No action replays with other decisions. And let's get VAR and let's get rid of VAR. Let's have the goal line technology. So if it's over the line, it's over the line. And then we can possibly look at things, disallow goals when the lineout's put his flag up a little bit too early and the player was onside, and give the benefit of the doubt. But then I suppose the other side of the argument is, well, if we're going to have the technology and we're using it for that, we need to use it for everything, to be fair. So you're right, you're devilled if you do, you're devilled if you don't. You can't win in football.
It's all become more complicated with it. Not complicated, but highlighted.
Yeah.
And people are frightened to make a mistake, and you can lose your jobs.
Yeah.
A referee can. If a referee has been highlighted and the people above him think he's got it wrong, then he's missing out for 2 weeks, or he's dropped down to the championship, or even lower into the championship 1 or 2 to referee games. It's a very, very difficult job. And you've only got to get any of the highlights on TV, whether it's Match of Day or Football Focus or Sky or BT Sport. The pundits can't even agree on it. Yeah. One will say it's a penalty, one will say it's not. So it is. So it's got to be difficult for the referees, hasn't it?
Harry Kane, was that a penalty or was that not a penalty? I've heard lots of pundits go on about Harry and say he invites the challenge and then he goes over a little bit too cheaply. But I remember Rodney Marsh saying years ago, look, if the defender's dopey enough to put the challenge in there, then if I feel it, I'm going to go over and I'm going to get the penalty. Where do you stand on that?
I agree with Rodney Marsh, because when you're playing in the game, right, you enticing the especially in and around the penalty box.
Yeah.
You've enticing the defender to come to you to make a challenge.
Yeah.
Knowing if now once you've got him off balance and you've got a chance of going past him, or if he mistimes the ball, it takes you out. Yeah. You've got a penalty, or you've got a free kick. So in the right way, it's the best thing to do, because what you're doing, you're looking to go past the man, so you're enticing him in. If he catches you, you've got to go down.
Yeah.
So I agree with Rodney Marsh. You're doing it, and if he hasn't got the willpower to stay on his feet, or is trying to be clever and thinks he's a great player and he can win the ball, it costs the team. Now, again, going back into the dressing rooms, a manager will turn around and say, stay on your feet in the box.
Yeah.
He will go down. Rodney Marsh will go down. Fanny Lee will go down. This is what they used to say, in our dressing rooms when we were playing against them.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, it's both ways. Don't forget the other team does it and your team does it. So as long as it's not a blatant dive, and we have seen some blatant dives, that's when it should be pulled up. That's when it's like when somebody gets hit in face when we know they haven't been hit in face.
Yep.
You know, that's when it's really bad, and it makes football look bad, and it makes you as a team look bad.
And it does make me laugh, because what they say is, look, if the ball hits you on the hand in a penalty area or in the arm, we're going to give a penalty, because if the ball, even if it's not intentional, it's a penalty. But then the other side, they go, well, if a player gets kicked, then he goes down. That's not a penalty. And I'm thinking, where do we come to this situation here?
Listen, the best one about all this, the best one of all this is they always give a free kick outside the box.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And then you see same type of tackle inside the box, and he doesn't give it.
Yeah.
He doesn't give it. And everybody around you just say, oh, well, how come that's not a penalty?
Yep.
Yeah, it's 2 minutes earlier, he's given a free kick for same type of tackle.
Yeah.
You know, it's baffling to everyone. It's baffling to everyone.
That's how we view it whenever we're watching a game of football, and I'm watching it with the lads, and I go, anywhere else on a pitch, that's a free kick.
We all say that, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. So why is that not a penalty? It's ridiculous. Anyhow, moving on from there, your magic moments this week from what you've seen of football, what are they?
Well, my magic moments, what were, I was going to go with two highlights of the Manchester City. Ramirez flicking the ball and City scoring from it with Aguero. And there was another incident in the same game with a great move, what they scored from City. But then you posted a goal by Rochdale on my wall. And when I looked at it, I thought, brilliant. I've been saying for years, and it started to change in the Premier League, in the Championship. We've even now got it in the lower leagues. People trying to play football, keeping the ball with a high tempo. So I'm going to go with the Rochdale goal. Fantastic move at that level of football. But not at that level, because I hear it all the time at this level of football. If you miss this chance, you know you can't afford to miss it. At any level of football, to score a goal like that, it really pleases me so much. And like I said, I was going to go with that. Once you sent me that, I thought I'm going to use that, because that was the highlight of it, of the weekend for me.
I've got through this week. The one magic moment again is that Rochdale goal, because you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter at what level that you're playing.
And I know your Birmingham one's coming for the young boy, and it was brilliant for him. I know this is coming, but go on.
I know. But again, I got into another Facebook row with the odd Blues fan. They only post up when they see me going on about Birmingham in a negative way. But I wasn't. I was absolutely elated. Jude Bellingham scored a goal for Birmingham. He's a 16-year-old lad for people that don't know. And your first goal is something absolutely special. Your first everything is your first love, your first car, you know, it is. So when I saw it, I was elated for him. When I saw the goal, it took a proper deflection. And I looked at it and I thought, as a player, yes, obviously he's elated, but it takes a little bit of the moment away. It did when I played Sunday. Does it not for you?
No.
Okay.
I'll tell you the reason why.
Yeah.
The early part, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Your first goal. Now, your second part, you bang right with. It's a wicked deflection.
Yeah.
In general, he won't get that goal.
No.
But 16?
Yes.
Your first goal, and you are not bothered how it goes in.
Yeah.
You shot. So you're right on both parts, but I've got to give it to the young boy.
Yeah.
And you say, well, you've got to treat everybody. No, at 16, to come on, have the confidence to do what he was doing, right, and to get the goal. And you're right, it was a wicked deflection.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't take that away from him. If I'd have been his dad, I'd have been brilliant. It's his first goal. And when you looked at him, the elation of it all, it had got to him. Fantastic. Brilliant. So I'm going to give him the goal. But you're right what you're saying. It was a wicked deflection.
And Dean Ashton on Quest on Saturday night, he said exactly the same thing as what I've been saying. And I'm going, look, Harley Barley.
But do you think Dean Ashton would have not claimed that goal?
I remember a situation, I think it was Franny Jeffers claimed a goal, and they said you weren't even playing.
He said there was one goal what somebody gave, well, very important. When I say very important, just say it might have been an 100th goal.
Yeah.
And it was a wicked deflection.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a big strike, I'm trying to think who it was. But he didn't get it, but he was trying to claim it. And obviously he didn't get it because it took a wicked deflection. But he was trying to claim it. When you score goals, you're not bothered how they're going, you will try and claim them if you can.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to take that away from that young boy because it's his first of in a football match, and like the first of everything, he'll never forget it. And he can score worldies, and he can score many more goals. Right?
Yep.
He will never forget that goal.
Yeah. And again, in front of the Tilton Road end, and he's a Blues supporter. My third magic moment was a young lad that I didn't know too much of him, to be fair. Until Saturday, and I went over to the bookies and I rolled 5 aways up, and one of them was Sunderland, and this Marcus Maddison stuck one from a free kick right in the top corner, and apparently he's a bit of a player, and he's got a little bit of attitude, and he's left-footed as well, so he ticks all the boxes for me. Have you heard about this boy, Marcus Maddison, for Peterborough?
Yes, I have. Because only reason why, because my son Tom. Just like when I was his age, I knew everything about football, players, clubs, grounds, everything about it. Not as much as I did when I was younger. But when you've got 2 young sons, I remember Thomas telling me about Vardy when he was playing for Halifax. So that's the reason why I knew of that boy, Peterborough, because of Tom highlighting about this kid's going to be a good player, Dad. But the one thing what sticks out to me about the game on Saturday, I've got 8 teams. I've got 7 up for a £5. I'm waiting for Sunderland for 1,500 quid, and that boy sticks one in. So yes, I did. I do know of him, Gabbie.
Who else did you roll up? I mean, I'd rolled up Villa away, Bradford away, Sunderland away, Celtic and Liverpool. I rolled up 5 of them. And
I had Grimsby at Walsall. That was a good price.
Yeah.
Rochdale at Southend.
Yeah.
And then a couple of short price ones, 4 to 5 and 4 to 6. I've got my ticket downstairs. I've started saving them again, so I'll put them all together next time I do another book.
Do you have a bet every week, Tal, or do you just occasionally?
I put 20 quid on 5 teams.
Yeah.
And then I have a 5 roll up. It's either 10 teams.
Yeah.
Or 8, but it's usually 10 teams. But I only had 8 on this Saturday. But that's me interest in football now. I like to have a bet and watch it, and I get more excited that way.
Yeah. Now, as a player, when you were a player, you couldn't bet. Could you not bet in them days? Was it as strict in those days? Because I know famously one or 2 players that did like a bet and did put a few quid on themselves to score.
Well, listen, they got in trouble for it, didn't they?
Well, Stan Bowles never. Yeah.
Peter Swan and all them, they got done. And you really, you're not. Now, you shouldn't be betting your team to get beat.
No, but your team to win and you to score.
Right. I've never mentioned this before. I'm playing for Sheffield United. We're playing Reading, and it's 0-0. And at the not the cop end, the bottom end of it, I don't know what they call the bottom end at Bramall Lane.
Yeah.
Right. I've looked at the clock because the games in those days finished at 9:10.
Yeah.
Right. And it was 0-0. And I had £500 on us to beat Reading. All right. I wouldn't pass the ball to anybody. When it got to 9 o'clock, I won't pass to the ball because I've got 500 quid on. And I remember going to Josephine's after the game, and some Sheffield United fan in queue saying to me, "Curran, you epping tosspot, you've never put yourself about at all tonight." and I just had 500 quid on us, and we didn't lose, we drew 0-0.
Yeah.
So yes, I did bet, but I never bet against us. I always backed us to win, not every time.
Yeah.
Now and again, I would, if I really fancied us to beat a team, and that's a true story. That is a true story.
So I don't see anything wrong with a player betting on himself or their team to win. Betting against your team, I think, is absolute no. And I think you should be banned sign die. But betting on you
bet against
winning,
your team,
never. 100%
if you bet
never.
against your team, then you should be banned.
I don't
as
like
a player.
Yeah, I don't like betting against Birmingham as a punter.
Listen, every time I back Sheffield Wednesday, they get beat. Every time I mention them, they're going to win, they get beat. So that's why I don't write about them on my Facebook. I never say, I say it a couple of times. Come on, Wednesday, 3 points a day. I think you can do it. They get beat. So I stopped putting it. I stopped mentioning it because every time I mention them, they're going to win, they get beat. So it does my head in that. I'm so unlucky with that.
Now, you mentioned earlier when Thomas was on about the young boy Vardy at Halifax. He really is, for me, in a purple vein of form. I know that he's said that he's kind of retired from international football, but if you was Gareth Southgate, you've got 2 games now that you should win, Bulgaria and is it Kosovo? So you should win both of them games at Wembley and at Southampton on Tuesday nights. Would you be tempted to go to Jamie Vardy, go round his house, have a cup of coffee and say, look, son, I really think you should reconsider. You've got a point that we didn't use you as favourably as we should have, and I get that you got so frustrated you would rather walk away than just be a substitute all the time because you're better than that. That kid scores goals from all different angles, and I personally think he's on fire, and England should do whatever they can do to get Vardy back in the fold.
Well, what I'm going to say about when you look what happened to Vardy as a young boy, getting released, all different types of excuses why he got released. He was in trouble a lot, or he was too small, this, that, and other. To get back to the very, very top like he has done and win a Premier League with Leicester, that is a story in itself.
Yep.
But the problem with what you're saying is this game, and we all know it, it's about opinions.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It is about opinions. Alan Hudson wasn't liked by the manager. It's not that he was a bad player. He wasn't liked by that manager. And whatever you think what Southgate should be doing, I'm not saying he'll always deny. I don't think he's not a good player. But if he's not picking him in his squads, or when he's picked him in his squads and he's not played him, or not even fetching him on as a sub, that's telling you as a player he doesn't really fancy you.
Yeah.
Right? But he wants you on the bench just in case we need to throw you on. The problem is then with Vardy, everybody what's in and around him, or a lot of people what's in and around him, will be saying, well, what's the point in going there? He don't fancy you, and probably that's why he's looked at it and thought, why am I keep going to these trips? Or, I'm away. We're away a lot with Leicester, but when we're international, we're away for 5 days, and then we're flying, here, there, and everywhere to play matches. Why do I want to keep doing that? It's a difficult one. I agree with you. You should. People ask me what made Cloughie the best. Cloughie, if he didn't like you, he would play you.
Yeah.
He would play you, even if he didn't like you. And that is the difference. So you're right what you're saying, but he's never going to ask him. You know it, and I know it, because, he's got younger boys coming through, what he'll think in front of Vardy, because that's what football is. It's about opinions. So, but would I ask him? Yeah. Would you ask him? Yeah. Plenty of other people would ask him, and probably would come back.
Yeah.
If he felt that, it was genuine, that I could be some really have a big influence on it, whether I know I'm going to come on or I'm going to play and come off after 70 minutes.
Yeah.
But he's got a reason for it, and obviously in my eyes it's that he's not being used enough by Southgate, and he'll have looked at it and think, well, he don't really fancy me, and I think that's what it boils down to. But it doesn't mean you're a bad player.
No.
I mean, people say to me, he's only played so. Well, he's only played that because that manager thinks that Charlie George is a better player.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And that's why some of them don't get game time or enough game time.
Yeah.
When a new manager comes in, I mean, a couple of lads at lower level who I knew, when in first team with one manager, the manager gets a sack. They're out of football now.
Yeah.
End of the season, got released. And they're playing at 23, 24 years of age. But one manager loved and another manager doesn't. So it's opinions, and you know it, Gabbie, as well as I do. And it's an awkward one for players. And it's a frustrating one because the people what's in and around him will have an influence, that he doesn't like him, he doesn't fancy it. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? So, but I'm like you. I would have had him in because at the end of the day, when you've got pace like he's got, and he's not just the pace side of it, he does score goals. And he's got a decent touch, a very good, decent touch.
And he has a great awareness. I think he's a tremendous player, and I think you're right when you touch upon managers. Is it a coincidence? Is it any coincidence that Jamie Vardy's form has improved since Brendan Rodgers has took over the reins at Leicester, and the way that Leicester are set up now? They're more attacking. They get the ball forward to Vardy, whereas before they were they were a lot more defensive, weren't they? Let's be truthful. And you're right, players. If you're looking at a football team and you're going to be transferred, or look at the team that you're going to, the way that the manager sets up, because you could be the greatest player on the planet, but if they don't play to your strengths, you might not have a good time there.
I have always told people this. I don't have a go at managers for sake of having a go at managers.
No, you don't.
But the managers pick the team.
Yeah.
And they say, well, I put that, but there may be better players.
Yeah.
That he's not picked. Why has he done that? Because it's his opinion. Mm-hmm. Does that philosophy suit them type of players he's picked? Mm-hmm. It's when a manager's successful, I'll always say it's the manager what's done that. Because when you can get 11 great players like City do, and the Barcelonas and the Man United and your Liverpool to win things, that's down at manager.
Yeah. Because
he's got the right philosophy for those players, for that team, and that's why they achieve great things. When they play a player out of position, or they're playing a player for sake of playing a player because the manager likes him, and they don't get the results, they want to blame the players. It's the manager. It's regardless of what he said. They're the ones what pick that team.
Yeah.
Vardy is looking for the ball early. Why? Because he's got that blistering pace. So he makes runs without the ball as good as anybody else there is in the Premier League.
Yeah.
If you watch his runs off the ball, it's fantastic. He doesn't always get them, but he never gives up. He keeps making those runs, right? Where some other players will think, piss this, I keep making this run, it's not coming. It's brilliant to keep doing that, and it's an art thing to do that, Gabbie.
Okay.
But without doubt, is a player. Make no mistake on that. And every time I see him, I always think of Sheffield Wednesday. How can we let him go?
Yeah. And talking of Sheffield Wednesday, I interviewed one of your favourite owl, Jim McCalliog, last night. He sends you all the very best. And thanks to the lovely comments as well. But Jim said exactly the same to me last night as what you're saying about players. He'd say to Mike Shannon, Mick, make your run wherever you're going to run, I'll find you. And he said, and that's what I did. And you're right, great players. And your magic moments of last week was Jamie Vardy's goal, especially when he gave the ears to the United. But that ball, because we were away, I'd just come back off holiday. I didn't see the outside of the pass by James Maddison right into the area for Vardy to run onto it.
Unbelievable.
Oh, it was quality. That kid is a top player.
if I could say to any fan what listens to this, show, even if you don't like a team, watch the quality midfield player.
Yeah.
Because that's majority of things. What's playing those balls through?
Yeah.
I'm not talking balls, long balls, diagonal balls. I'm talking about the quality. I'll never forget the one, Gabbie, the 1970 World Cup.
Yeah.
When Carlos Alberto played the ball outside of his foot down the line, it was pulled in left for him, and bang, the score from Brazil. And I've never forgot that goal.
Yeah.
If you put the clip on, you'll see the goal. And when you see all great goals, people think I'm upset. Man City mean as much to me as Wimbledon do.
Yeah.
Right? But I love to watch top quality football. When you see the goals are scored and the through balls that De Bruyne puts through, and when you look at the great teams of yesteryear and the great players, the McAlliogs, Wolves had one, Peter Knowles will retired. The fantastic on balls, Hudson, the Bowles, Marshes, Colin, great passes of a ball.
Yeah.
We don't have enough of that. We have runners, which we call box-to-box players.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think we're nowhere near the other European teams because of that. But it is changing. We have got players coming through. Like I said to you, last week, I'm like you, I'm disappointed that Jack Grealish is not in because he gives us something different.
Yeah.
They are great players. They are good players, these kids, and great players, these Mounts and Maddisons. They make no mistake in the Loftus Cheeks. There's plenty of them in there. There is plenty of them in there. But when you look at all them, and then you look at Jack Grealish, if you look at him and analyse him and watch him, how composed he is when the ball comes to him, he never gets flustered.
Nah.
The others do. They're still great players, but you never see him panic. You'll never see, and if you watch it when you're watching the match of the days of this world or watching football on TV, even though it's not your team, you watch the great players and you make the run, and you know it's going to come that ball, and it lands. When I hear other people say it lands on a sixpence, I don't look at that. It lands, and the player doesn't have to break stride.
Yeah,
that's what you call a quality pass.
Yeah. And Jim taught me through that those two balls that some would say, oh, it's a long ball. He's put one through to Shannon in the 76 Cup final in the first half, and then put one to Bobby Stokes in the second half. And he told me exactly how he'd done it, and he knew that if he'd hit it in a certain way, the ball could hit the Wembley turf and run out. So he's put that bit of backspin on, and those are artists of the game, and this is what I say. Jack Grealish is of that same ilk. That he's a great one-touch player. The way he passes the ball, a player actually doesn't have to touch the ball. Just put your laces through it, son.
Next time someone says to you about it was a long ball, explain to them there's a long ball and a long pass.
Yeah.
And a long pass where your man gets it, right, is a pass.
Yeah.
A long ball, when you centre forward and the opposition centre half are challenging for the ball, is a long pass.
Yeah.
Now, am I against big centre forwards? No, I am not. I feel sorry for them. Why? Because it's a diagonal ball up for them and they're having to jump for it. What we don't see anymore, right, is your Willie Morgans going down the byline, pulling the ball back for the centre forwards to come and run on and get an heading, like your Tony Aitlers and all them. Yeah. They were good players, but that's the way how to play football when you play a big man up front, not a long big boot up the field from the goalkeeper and from your midfield player hitting diagonal balls. Now a long pass where the player gets it and he's got that chance to get a shot off goal or got a chance to put someone else through. It's a different. That's why we're not successful in this country, because they don't understand what a long ball is and a long pass is. Yeah,
absolutely. And talking about great central strikers, we've got two that have been involved and got embroiled in a social media row and rant. Michael Owen's book's come out, and Shearer hasn't took very kindly to his comments about his beloved Newcastle, has he?
I know there was a little bit of conflict with them when when Owen didn't play, when they got beat at Villa and they got relegated.
Oh,
right?
okay.
I knew there was a bit of, but I didn't know it was. You see, I didn't know it was as bad as this.
Yeah.
But what happened? I mean, that's what people don't understand what goes off. Don't think all players get on because they don't. They don't. You know, obviously, when Owen went up there, he'd broken Shearer's transfer record, hadn't he?
Yeah.
And he was earning more money than Shearer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because Shearer coming to the end of his, but I think Shearer had in his contract that if anybody else comes in, he has to match him on his wage streak. People don't realise that. I mean, I get a lot of stick for going to play at Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
Right. Now Shearer went to Newcastle, regardless of what anybody tells me, for money.
Yeah.
He went to Blackburn. Yes, he won the title. I still can't believe that they won the title. Yes, they got Dalglish who knows how to win a title, and they spent a lot of money, right? But going to Man United, you know you're going to win trophies because Man United at that time were winning trophies, right? But they weren't willing to give him what he was asking for, and that's why he went there. Would a Shearer or would any of these top players going to play for their team in a lower level of football? No, they wouldn't have done it. No. So I'm glad now there's things like this coming out and the people can see that everybody doesn't get on, right? Even the top players, you know. Yes, he had a lot of injury problems, Owen, when he went to Newcastle. The other thing is, what I had to laugh about, because I've had a good read about all this today. Owen said for a year that Graham Souness phoned him up. You're not in team, this, that, and other. Why don't you come and play for us? And eventually he finished up. He said his heart weren't in it. Yeah. And that is true. I mean, I got that when I was going to Sheffield United. But what people don't understand, even today in modern day football, people say to me, football's changed. Has it? No. They'll be tapping players up all day long. People say to me, why did you move a lot? Right? Because if you notice, all the top managers bought me, Gabbie. Yeah. All the top ones. Yeah. Every one of them bought me. I would have never left Forest, I will say this, but I would have played for Sheffield Wednesday at some point, but I wouldn't have left Forest. And I could have gone to Everton, Tottenham and Sheffield United in first division when Forest were in second. But I knew Clough were going to win trophies. For 6 months, I was talking to people at Forest about joining them. Yeah. Right? And then I got the bad injury. Right? I was playing at Derby. Many were phoning me up to go and play for them. Why don't you come and play for me? Jack Charlton, through Morris Setters, why don't you come and play for me at Sheffield Wednesday? Howard Kendall phoning me up, Terry, you'll be a big star up here. They'd love you, the fans. You get tapped up. It sends your mind off. You know, if Sheffield Wednesday, if Jack had paid the tax on that £11,000, I'd have stopped at Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah. You know, Sheffield United offered me £50,000, and Jack didn't believe it, and then he tried to give me it when it went to a tribunal. All these people what said they do this and do that for the club, they all make me laugh. Go and play when your team's having a bad time. Yeah. Go and play for the team. I wonder how many will do that. In my case, will turn around and say, well, it was thick as stupid, that's why I went there. No, I went and played for my team. Yeah. I went and played for my team. And my team, it was as big as anybody in that league, barring Liverpool, Man United, Tottenham and Arsenal and Newcastle, because they will get bigger crowds than us. But, I mean, London's a bit different. Yeah. But Manchester's got 2 teams, Liverpool's got 2. We've got 2 teams in Sheffield. So we might get 50, 60,000 every week, you know. But I were attracting 30-odd thousand in third division. Yeah. 30-odd thousand fans in the third division I were attracting to Sheffield Wednesday.
That game that we're going to talk about more towards
Boxing
Christmas.
Day
50,000 more than there.
Gabbie? Yeah. People said to me, I wish to show you when they went a seat taken. Yeah. Right? And you know, in them days, standing. Yeah. So the 49,000, listen, they don't call me Father Christmas. Right? If there were 60, 70,000 people that day, listen, I wouldn't believe him. I would not believe him. And when you're outside, there were thousands outside, couldn't get in. Right? It was unreal, and I mean unreal. Yes, it's a derby, and you can ask anybody who plays any derby. They're fantastic games to play in. They are fantastic games to play in. But I mean, we still hold the record. I think Villa held the record, and we took it. We broke it from Aston Villa when Aston Villa were in the old third division.
Yeah.
But ours was a derby, so it did help. It did help us Wednesday in that sense. But there were 45,000 in the return match at Bramall Lane at Easter.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that record's not going to be broken, is it?
No, not by 30. No, absolutely no chance, especially with modern all-seated stadiums today. You've got no chance. Those records will stand forever. And two great teams in a wonderful city of football. Jock Watch, how's Jock doing? Did he play this weekend? Where's the lad?
No, it was on the bench, and they're having a bit of a bad time. I have to watch what I say about Jock, as you know, because at the end of the day, you know, if I praise him, people say, "Oh, well, he's going to say that."
No, you're not.
But people will. Other people think that.
Yeah.
You know, and then when I don't say no, you never hear him say anything about when he's not doing well. But he's as much to blame as anyone in that team. It's having a bit of a bad time at the moment in time, Gabbie. They've lost 4 out of the 5, and everything's not going right at the moment in time. So I'd love to talk about it, but if I said something, and I said something what were controversial, then it causes problems. So I will not go into it, but I'll just say it was another loss they've had, and they played last night, and they got beat again last night. So the team and Jock are having a bit of a bad time at this moment in time.
But we will follow him all season, so every week on the Curran View, we will always have a Jock watch to see how Jock is getting on.
All the team's done, yeah.
His team didn't do very well this weekend. Leeds United, blimey, that was a coupon buster as well, wasn't it?
Well, when you looked at that, and I looked at that at Leeds, I thought, I'm not putting them in at 4-7 against Swansea.
Yeah.
I tell people about them, Swansea, to be a dark horse. And don't forget, they've lost a lot of players.
Yeah.
It's the manager.
Yep.
Right? How do I know that manager? And like I said, I only knew him through, because I didn't know him as a footballer. I've never heard him as a footballer.
Yep.
I watched him when he was managing in the under-18s at Liverpool.
Yep.
And I liked how he wants to play football. Having said that, I've only saw the highlights, and what I saw, Leeds had chance after chance and couldn't score. And they've hit one right near death and got the winner.
Yeah.
But as Leeds are 4-7 at top of league, and them at now 72, whatever they were, second in league, you know, it's a no-brainer. You won't want to back a 4-7 shot, but it was a bad result for Leeds. But it was a worse result for Sheffield Wednesday, but a bad result for Leeds. But I thought they did play quite well. But this team will not be a pair of plates out. They won't. I like this manager.
Yeah, and my tip for the Championship, Fulham, they come unstuck when Ariata. I don't know what.
Why do it?
I don't know what goes through a player's head at that moment. I'm guessing you see a bit of red mist because there was an incident a minute or two previously, wasn't there? And you take that into the next challenge. He was caught. For me, it was a free kick to Harry Arthur. It wasn't given, and he jumped up like...
Yes, it's the reaction, isn't it? You're right, it's the reaction.
Yeah.
And it gets him more into trouble.
Yeah, it does. And for me, that's what he got sent off for, the remonstration there, and that ill discipline. And I thought it was ridiculous. But again, when you've played the game, it's different to when you're looking at it as a supporter. And supporters will say, well, we know as much as the players. How come they know? Look, and I always say to people, look, they've actually played the game. They've been in them situations. You haven't. You might have for your Saturday club or your Sunday club. It's totally different, and especially when it's on a live game, it's televised, and there's a bid on it as well, and players react in an indifferent manner.
But I'm like you. I thought they should have won it and they could have won it. But obviously, once they got the man sent off, it doesn't. I mean, sometimes it works in your favour, but in that game, it didn't at all. But going back to Jock, what I was going to say about it, I've got to watch what I say, because obviously when they're having a bad time, I don't want to be venting and raving and saying and blaming this and that, because they're all in it together. But like I said to you, once he fills out, for me, he'll be a player, Gabbie. I will say that about him. But I will keep everybody informed how they've gone on. And if they've had a good result, I'll tell you about a good result. And if it's done okay, I'll tell you done okay. But the team's having a bit of a bad time, and you have to watch what you say, because people take it the wrong way. That I would be blaming everybody else. They're all in it together. When you're not doing well, all of you, you've got to analyse what is the problem. But no, he's all right. I'm pleased with him at this moment in time.
Got to also mention Union Berlin. They beat Borussia Dortmund 3-1 on Saturday night. I watched that game, and it was like a throwback to the 70s. Do you remember when we all used to wear like colours and scarves and rattles? And I mean, I didn't see any evidence of any rattles, but you could tell where the Berlin fans were. They were all dressed in red, and in the end. The end to the right, it was all yellow. It's like just a red and yellow game. It was great.
But it does look brilliant. It's like Liverpool in those European nights, isn't it? It does. But in Germany, do they have standing areas again now?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Right. Well, that you know as well as I do, because we watched the football in the 70s, early 80s and 60s, when you went and stood on terraces.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that cop at Sheffield Wednesday, it's same as I've done both, playing, and it makes hair stand up back of my neck.
Yeah.
And I've stood in the cop when I was a young kid, and it makes hair stand up back when it's full and everyone's singing.
Yeah.
You don't get the same atmosphere when people are seated. I know they stand a lot, but it's still, they don't sing like they used to sing. There used to be certain people in fan groups what used to write songs and make songs up. You know, when I say make songs up, take clippets from a pop song and put words to it to football. You don't get that anymore, do you? You know, you get somebody with a drum, bang, 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 and it drives me around the twist that.
But it just looks so wonderful, and I thought, blimey,
brilliant.
You look at the Bundesliga. It's cheap to get into the games. They even lay on away travel for nothing, you know. And you look and you think, well, okay, the balance of power has been in the Premier League for some time. But, and I was talking to Tom, one of my lads, the other day when we was watching this. Can that balance of power be transferred? Because, you know, when it was around the World Cup in 1990, it was all Italy. Players would go into Italy. Now they're coming over to the Premier League for the money. Will the next league that grows be the Bundesliga? Because they've got a tremendous fan base and they've got some wonderful old clubs as well.
You see, with them, they're supported like our clubs are.
Yeah.
The thing what we've got 92 clubs.
Yeah.
When you look at the rest of Europe, they've only got one league, haven't they?
Pretty much.
They've only got one league. We've got 4 leagues.
Yeah.
You know, but the German, I think I wrote this on my wall last week. You know, it's cheaper to go in to watch those games, yet their crowds are just like our crowds are in our Premier League, full every week.
Yeah.
You know, and what they do for their teams and how the teams are run are far better than our teams. Now I'm thinking about it. It was to do with this Bolton and Bury scenario.
Yeah.
I wrote about why is it our clubs have finished up being run down like this with having bad owners, yet in Germany, right? They don't. You can't buy the grounds, the stadiums. No. They've linked it in now. That stadium always has to be there.
Yeah.
And that's why some of these owners buy these stadiums, because they know even if they put money in, they lost it. They've got the stadium as a sellable asset.
Yeah.
When the ground gets knocked down and they put them into new stadiums and this type of thing, or if the club folds like Bury might have to do. How they've got it right in Germany, why has it not been put right in this country?
It's amazing, isn't it?
And I put the same as thing. It's cheaper to go in, and I didn't realise they pay for the for the away trips, which, if that's the case, it's phenomenal. But I can remember Dave Whelan, Wigan owner, I can remember watching a clip of him, an interview of him, say that if we wanted to, we could let people come into our grounds. We don't need to charge them.
Mm.
And I thought, but he did say, it's the big ones what won't allow it.
Yeah.
It's greed's greed, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Greed's greed, and that's the thing about England. Why should these owners buy them? They don't put the money for sake of putting it in. They put it in because they take more out what they put in.
Oh, 100%. And finally, the international break. Back in your day, we didn't have a break when England played, did we?
No.
It was usually a midweek game.
Well, the thing about you're right. There were no breaks with it.
No.
But the problem is the Champions League now.
Yeah.
That's like another league itself.
Yeah.
Throughout the season, but the clubs compensate for it with having more players.
Yeah.
So, but it's boring when you like to watch the national team, but it's boring when your team's not playing. I find it, when that comes on, I can't wait for the international game to get over, so we get back to the domestic game again.
Because we're only playing Bulgaria and Kosovo, and let's be honest. Bulgaria travelling to Wembley, you probably look at a 3-4-0 England win, and Kosovo at St Mary's. I suppose you're looking at another 2 or 3-0 England win. They're two games that don't fill you with much enthusiasm, and England should qualify. Well, England's under-17s really should qualify out this group. It is so weak, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing about all that is when we play these weak teams, not weakened teams, but weak teams, when we play them, we still get full houses, don't we?
Yeah, I know, yeah. So great our fans are.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's not only that, they're travelling from up north, Midlands and everywhere to get to Wembley.
Yeah.
To watch the national team. It's unbelievable how we get full houses for these, or near full houses for these types of games.
Well, with that,
but I'm like you. I think there's no game easy anymore because of how organised people are in defensive now, or have a more defensive strategy than what they did years ago. But I think they should win. They should win them, and like all our under 21s, 18s, 19s, 20s, all of them are having good times this moment in time.
And without upsetting Matt Letizia, what are they playing at Southampton? It's even further away by the coast, isn't it? You'd think.
Can I ask you this question, though?
Yeah, go on.
Where would you want us to play?
Birmingham. I wouldn't have to go too far.
No, what I'm trying to get at is...
Play Villa Park.
When you look in Spain and everywhere else, in Italy, they play at all the grounds, don't they?
Yeah.
Now, isn't that great? So, this one's at West Brom.
Yeah.
Right? The next one's at Hillsborough.
Yeah.
The next one is at Arsenal.
Yep.
The next one's up at Newcastle. Wouldn't it be great to be able to go round?
Brilliant.
All this, and I tell you what, that way, I guarantee you full houses.
Yeah. And also... you get. I know with Team England and the England fans, and they're in the club. My lad's in the England supporters club, and he goes away and watches England. But when you're up and down the country, you're going to get different supporters that go and watch the national team as well. You'll pretty much get the same ones that travel to Wembley all the time. But I think if you took it around the country, you've got more chance of other people. And let's be honest, some kids as well getting in and watching their heroes playing.
I was just going to say the same thing. On top of that, Gabbie, you've got little kids what can't get to London, but he's in Leeds and he can go and watch an England game with all the players, but he might not see week in and week out if they're playing at Leeds or if they're playing at Sunderland now. It'd be great for them to be able to do that. At this 6, 7, 8, 10-year-olds. So that's another reason. But it should be shared throughout because it's England.
Yeah.
And like Wales, they should be shared. I mean, their grounds might not be compatible to be able to get fans into them. But like in England and Scotland, we've got good stadiums.
Yeah.
to take the game to different grounds, and we should do it. We should do it.
But again, you know the reason why, Tal. It's all about money. It's all about raising as much revenue and income that we can, instead of doing what's good and what's more beneficial for the young kids coming through to watch their heroes that they watch on Match of the Day. And that would be, for me, the best case scenario. Take the England games around country.
The FA, like our government, whoever's in power, I don't blame him one, I'm not blaming other. Right? They know the rules.
Yep.
But they don't understand the game.
Yep.
And we've got to abide by their rules. Well, and that's a problem. And that's something will never change.
No. And we're back to where we started with the referees as well. Knowing the game, knowing the rules, but never actually playing it and understanding it to its full. But there's one thing for certain this weekend, TC. We are both going to be singing the blues because England are going to win both games.
Yes, we are. And there's one thing. I mean, if England get beat, I'm not half as bad as if Sheffield Wednesday get beat. So, pair of us are not going to be down because the team's not playing this week.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing for weekend.
What I will just say, I'm finishing. I remember watching a game when I was a kid. England, probably be about 92, something like that, around about that time, early 90s. And England played Chile. And there was a boy, Villa were after, I think his name was Shearer. He was a midfield player. He put over a phenomenal ball to Salas, who went on and played for Lazio. I think he's controlled it with his right thigh. He's brought it down. He's volleyed it straight past whoever the England goalkeeper was at the time. I stood up off my chair and clapped, and I've gone, what a goal. Superb. And the old man's gone, sit down. You don't clap anything that's scored against Birmingham City or England. And I thought, I do, Dad.
I mean, I must admit, when you see great goals, you get up and clap. But going back to talking about England, that you were just talking about England and Bulgaria. I remember 66 when we won the World Cup.
Yeah,
I'd be 11 then. You know, I'm sat at house when we won the World Cup. The commentator, Kenneth Wilson, is related, some cousin to my mother.
Okay.
Right? So, and then I become a footballer myself, and I finish up playing with Alan Ball, who won the World Cup. You know, you think this, I've come from a little mining village and I'm playing with him. Would I ever thought that? And then I get bought by Jack Charlton.
Yeah.
You know, what won the World Cup. And his brother tried to buy me when he was manager of Preston, Bobby Charlton. You know, watching a game and then little incidents like that. I remember going to watch Barnsley play once. They played Hartlepool, and I stood outside at dugout because my brother, one of my elder brothers, was Barnsley, and I went to watch Barnsley with him. And I remember saying to Brian Clough, I think I must have only been about 10 then. You know, why don't you come and watch me play football? Because I'm going to play for you. And it's funny how I finished up playing for Brian Clough.
Yeah.
Little things like that never leave your head, do they? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Little games and incidents in life, and then it happens, and you think, "Is this real? This?" But you're right. I've always clapped great goals, or whoever it is, even if it was Sheffield United against Sheffield Wednesday. Like I said on one of these shows about Brooks when he was at United, he ripped us apart. And I went, "Wow, what a player this kid's going to be." So you do. If you're a genuine fan, and I don't want United to beat us. I never want United to finish above us. But when you're a genuine fan, when you see great things, you know, Curry will always be a great player. Jeff Salmons will always be a great player. Alan Wood will always be a great player. They were players. Even though I was a Wednesday fan, I still saw them on Match at Day.
Yeah.
You know, and it was fantastic to watch. And I will never knock clubs or players when they play the beautiful game, which I love to watch, and that's what it is, the beautiful game.
Well, let's hope that we see a couple of beautiful games, 2 England wins, and we will reconvene this time next week, and we're going to see if I can get it back the week after to 3-2, or you're going to take a 4-1 lead. My predictions are getting worse. In fact, we do a family prediction table. I am currently lying bottom.
Gabbie, do you know if we'd have had a £5 bet on this?
Yeah.
You'll be winning. Every time I don't have a bet on anything, it wins. You know. So I think you just might be 4-1 down next week.
Thanks, TC. Till
Great
next week.
speaking to you. Yeah, until next week. I'll
always.
Speak to you next week.
Cheers,
okay.
my cat.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's just dream.